Apologies if you were hoping this talk to be serious or useful. It will be neither. Hopefully it will nonetheless be amusing and maybe even interesting. So in the code katas, some of us do. We sometimes write code with a restriction, such as wrapping all native types or not using if statements, the idea being that helps you think in different ways and thus program better. So this got me thinking, could you write C# without using semicolons? First sign, that seems rather impossible. Well, we'll see. So here we have a simple hello world program. You can run it, it asks you your name, what name, it greets you, and that's it. But this program has semicolons in. Where's the mouse gone? The first semicolon is there, easy enough to get rid of. You can simply do system dot. Bit ugly, but got rid of a semicolon. Now, the next issue is that we're using statements. Statements end with a semicolon, so we can't really use statements. Now, in this little example app here, we have a whole C# program without any semicolons in that lets you do stuff, and it will exit when you enter a blank line. Here we have a working program with no semicolons in. It's just the condition of while loop. So it's possible to make C# do something without using semicolons, but the problem is in here we're not returning anything. So here we could use the while loop because we're returning something and we can do a comparison and turn it into a Boolean. The problem here is that we're not returning anything, but you can't turn a void into a bool. So back to our hello world. So we can get around this. The first step is to wrap everything in a lambda. So this is doing exactly the same thing, just wrapped in a lambda. The next thing we do is called dynamic invoke. This is used as reflection. The critical thing here is that dynamic invoke, when called on something that returns void, returns null. We can now wrap this in a while loop. And we've now eliminated the semicolon. And this still runs just the same as before, it's all fine. So the next problem is that you can only declare a variable in a statement. This is a problem because we're declaring a variable here, so we need to eliminate the use of variables. So to get around that, first a brief bit of refactoring. We're going to move it out into a separate function. So main just calls main inner. This is just the same as before. And we'll wrap that in the condition of a while loop to make sure we don't introduce any more semicolons. We can then add a parameter instead, and we've eliminated the declaration of a variable. We can then wrap everything in there in while statements, and this still runs fine. Does exactly the same as before, and it indeed doesn't contain any semicolons. Just one final minor bit of refactoring. We can pass into the inner function something that does a lambda to do the conversion from void to bool. And here we have a working C# program with no semicolons. Thank you.